Hi, everyone, and welcome to North of the Broad. I'm your host, Robyn Zimmerman. I've enjoyed hosting North of the Broad for now almost 3 years. As you know, we've been bringing you our program from the Pat Conroy Literary Center. Now the permanent home of the center is in downtown Beaufort. And our first guest is with Holy Trinity Classical Christian School. It's been a partner of ours for a number of years. We have the Dean of the Upper School with us, Joe Lawrence. Hey, Joe.
It's a pleasure to be on with you today, Robyn.
Oh, it's good to have you with us. Let's begin. For our viewers that aren't familiar with Holy Trinity, and particularly the upper school that you're the dean of, kind of what kind of curriculum, how many students? Tell us a little bit about it.
We've got just under 150 students in the upper school, and that runs from 7th through 12th grade. And, you know, a lot of the subjects that we study, you'd find at any middle school or high school science and math classes. I think a couple of things make us stand out from the rest. One would be we study ancient languages like Latin and Greek to give our students access to these great works of literature that have been written down through the ages. The other thing would be our humanities program, in which history and literature and philosophy and writing composition are all integrated into a single class.
Okay.
Where the great questions that have animated human thinking for centuries, millennia, are asked in our classrooms today.
Wow, exciting. Now, there is a book called The Consolation of Philosophy that is part of the curriculum, and you are doing a 4-part lecture series based on that book. And it's called Something That Cannot Be Lost, an exploration of the Consolation of Philosophy. So why that book? Why did you pick that book to base your lecture series on?
That's a great question. Some might think it's crazy. The book was written in the 6th century in Ravenna, outside of Rome. It's a work of philosophy, and it might just seem outdated, but I don't think it is. There are a lot of books being written about how people can be happy, how people can put together, out of all the fragments of our lives, something like a meaningful human life.
Right.
I think of something like Dennis Prager's Happiness is a Serious Business, where he essentially says being happy, trying to find a way to be happy, actually has a positive effect on everybody around us, and you can't do that unless you find a way to live a meaningful life.
Wow. And have purpose.
And have purpose, precisely. Well, people have been reflecting on this for centuries, and so one of the great books that engages the question of what is happiness, how can we achieve it, what constitutes a meaningful human life. Boethius did it in the 6th century when he wrote Consolation of Philosophy. So It's a fascinating work, deeply engaging work, and I think, frankly, a timely work for us today.
So if we want to listen to your lecture series, you said it's in person, but it will be videotaped, portions of it. Should we read the book first or just listen? Or tell us about
That's an excellent question. If you want to participate, come to Holy Trinity. You can sign up on our website. It starts February 24th, which is just next week. You can also follow along online. We'll make that available. But do you need to read the book? It would make the class richer, but I aim to make the lecture so engaging, so interesting that whether or not somebody reads the book very closely or not, they'll get something valuable and meaningful and interesting from it.
Right. Are you thinking about doing a lecture series on other great books?
Oh, I'm really glad you asked that question. I'd love to make this a regular thing where we look at these great books that our students are studying in 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade, and making conversation and discussion and teaching around these great works available to adults, the wider public, parents, grandparents, or people who just want some kind of lively intellectual discussion.
Discussion and stimulation. How
Exactly.
Fascinating. Wow. Dean Joe Lawrence with Holy Trinity. I really appreciate that. And I'm really struck by what you have said today and our search for happiness. You know, I think everyone is always searching to be happy and have joy in their lives and purpose and intention. So I'm anxious to maybe participate and maybe even read the book.
I'd love to see you there. We all want to be happy.
Yes.
We don't all know how to do that.
That's right. Very good. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll be right back with North of the Broad.